वागीशात्या सुमनसः सत्त्वार्थानां पक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्या स्युहूतं नमामि गजाननं पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितं भगवता पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्ददामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीं भजन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् योगिनं विश्वनाथाख्यं अस्मत्तातस्वरूपिणम् आत्मलाभात् परं लाभम् वक्तारं न कदाचन प्रविश्य मे वाचं धृतिं बुद्धिं प्रचोदयात् ओं नमः सभाभ्यः सभापतिभ्यश्च ओ नमः ओम for Advaitic living number 31 today shlokas 6.1 to 6.6 chapter 6 actually 6 is the famous Dhyana Yoga chapter. It is very important for our Gita regimen type of task. Karma palam karyam karma karoti yam sasanyasi cha yogi cha naniratmenna cha kriyagam karma palam anashtitagam fruit of action karma palam anashtitagam not resorting to, not depending on karyam karma karoti yaha whoever karyam karma, the action, the duty, the obligatory duty, the task or work which yaha karyam karma karoti, whoever does the obligatory duties, works without resorting to the fruit, he is considered to be a sannyasi, renouncer. He is also the yogi, karma yogi, because that is what he does, karma yogi. If so a sannyasi, sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragni cha kriyaha. And then the Gita adds na niragnihi nachans. Our religious scriptures, rules say that when you take a renunciation, when you become a sannyasi, you have to you have to stop all your works, the obligatory works that you have been doing. Akriyaha, niragnihi akriyaha, that is usually the type. Here it says, na niragninna chakriyaha, such a person who has thrown away the fire rituals, who has discarded all works. He is the sannyasi. Who is this man? Anashtrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaga, without resorting to the fruits of action. Whoever does the discharges the obligatory word. Na kevalam niragninna chakriyaha. That is, not only the person who is not the only sannyasi, he is not the only yogi. This man is also both a sannyasi and yogi. Whoever does the obligatory duties is the sannyasin. Not only the man who does not light the sacrificial fire, nor who does not do the obligatory. Chapter is going to be talking about yogi. All along we have been talking about karma yogi, but here we are going to emphasize with this. He is a sannyasi, he is the yogi, it says, who does the karma yoga according to the that shloka. And so he emphasizes that in the next shloka also. Yam sanyasamiti prahu 6. Yam sanyasamiti prahu yogantam vidhi pandavam nahya sanyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. Yam sanyasam iti prahu yam. Whatever is called sannyasa, understand that vidhi Pandava here, Arjuna. Our people ordinarily understand as sannyasa, that is yoga, because the beautiful, the golden rule, asanyasta sankalpaha, yogi bhavati kaschana. Asanyasta sankalpaha is a complicated word, I will explain. Asanyasta sankalpaha Sanyasta sankalpaha means sankalpa is determination. We were going to talk about sankalpa quite elaborately just a while later. Sanyasta means discarded, renounced. Asanyasta means not renounced. The one who has not renounced all the determination kalpaha, he can never become a yogi. Na yogi bhavati kaschana. Such a person, how can he become a yogi? Because mental construction, one who has not discarded the mental constructions, asanyasta sankalpa, or attachment to the fruits of mental activity. Gita establishes or harps on the similarity between real renunciation and karma yoga. You have to discard the agency of all activity. What is karma yoga, real karma yoga? You have to discard the both cases, the agent of activity, the agency of activity is discarded. Paramartha sannyasena sadrishyam ti. Between the sannyasa, the absolute sannyasa, real sannyasa, and the karma yoga, the agent of activity through the means. That is why it says yam sannyasamiti prahu yogam tam viddhi pandava. Whatever is called sannyasa is yoga. So the two are like the idea. Karma yogi also has discarded the cause of distractions, namely craving for the fruits of actions. There is a distraction, and none becomes a yogi who has not renounced the desire will in the mind. Sankalpa is desire, will to desire. So let me enter, because the sankalpa word is a very technical Vedantic word. It is a conception or idea, solemn vow or determination to perform, desire or definite intention. It is a one-pointed resolve, achieve. Actually, it is the first practical step. It is the determining factor by which the sensitivity and potentiality of the mind, it has the capacity to harness the willpower, sankalpa. It is the tool to focus and harmonize the complex body-mind apparatus, the fruits of action. It is the determination to do something. All this is sankalpa. Sankalpa is a beautiful technical word used in Vedanta to act. By the way, desire itself is a precursor to action. Action is always preceded by a desire. But the will to desire, it is the volition or exercise of will. Manusmriti says, all desires are born of sankalpa. Sankalpa Prabhavam chapter, 6th chapter. In fact, Yudhishthira is called Ajata Shatru. What do you mean by Ajata Shatru? His enemy has not been born. At Adhyatmik, he, look at his words. O desire, I have found out your source. Desire, kama, desire, seldom think of you. So you will then cease to exist in me. Kama janami te moolam. I know your source. Sankalpat kila jayase. You are coming out, emanating. You are helping. Natvam sankalpaishyami. Samulo na bhavishyasi. Then you and your root will all be gone. Kama janami te moolam sankalpat kila jayate. Famous words in the Mahabharata, very often quoted by almost all commentators and all Upanyasakas. That is why he is called Ajal. He knows, he has recognized the root of desire is sankalpa, the thought process in the mind, a determination to perform. Kalpa should never be done. That is called asanyasta sankalpa. Sanyasta sankalpa. Sanyasta sankalpa means one who has discarded all sankalpas. Is any sankalpa. One who has not discarded the sankalpas, he can never become a yogi. Nahya sanyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati. Second line of the second shloka. Yam sanya, that is why sannyasa and yoga are the same. And he goes on. Third shloka. Arurukshormune yogam arudhasya tasyaiva shamah karanamuchyate. Or yogam arurukshoho. Yogam or yoga is, imagined as a tree. Arurukshoho, the tree of yoga, the peak of yoga. Who wants tree of yoga? For him, karma karanam uchyate. Action, works is the cause. It has to be done. All works have to be yoga, karma has to be done. Because that is the only cause of self-perfection, of liberation. A steady practice of the inner renunciation. What is inner renunciation? Sangam tattva dhananjaya. Sangam tattva. Association is discarded. Fruits of action, the objective for the fruits of action, that also are discarded. Lower nature. Conquest of the lower nature is easily accomplished. As long as he is unable to establish himself in the yoga of meditation, work is the Rukshoho means who wants to climbing. During the climb on the tree of yoga, hill of yoga, karma, but when you have got to the top, you see, Arurukshormune yogam karma karanam uchyate yogarudhasya tasya eva. Once he has climbed, reached the hill, reached the peak, tasya, for the same person who has the cause, shamah karanam uchyate. Shamaha means cessation, calm, peace, cessation or withdrawal from all what? Cause of perfect equality, Brahma Bhava, Samatva Buddhi. You see, in the measure has withdrawn from works to that extent, that is how much he has conquered the senses, how much he has withdrawn from the works, to that extent yoga. This is what Shankara explains in the Bhashya. Yavat yavat karmabhyaha uparamate. In whatever measure, tavat, that much, nivayasasya jitendriyasya chittam samadhiyate. For the man who has conquered his senses, the mind becomes yoga peak. Yoga Rudha is a very interesting, very important, complicated word, only at two or three places. Aruruksho mune yogam karma karanam uchyate yogarudhasya tasyaiva. For the same but yogarudha is not so easy. So the next shloka explains it more elaborately, very perfectly. Yada anushajyate yada hinendriyartheshu na karma svanushajyate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yogarudhasya. Yada na indriyartheshu na karmasu anushajyate. Anushajyate means gets attached. Nuts, indriya artha, sense objects, the objects which draw the senses. Indriyartheshu na karmasu, works, tasks. Yada, when anushajyate na indriyartheshu na karmasu, neither with the sense object nor with the works. When he does not get attached, sarva sannyasi, very important word, sarva sankalpa sannyasi. All sankalpas, sarva sankalpas. Sankalpa I told you, determination to do action. There prompts action. But even before the desire there is a will. That will is sankalpa, that sankalpa. When sankalpa is a common word known in rituals. Every ritual, Gayatri Japa, there is a sankalpa. Avishya Homa, there is a sankalpa. Any action, any ritualistic action, any puja, everything has a sankalpa. First of all, you do a sankalpa. I am going to do this sankalpa. So, sarva sankalpa sannyasi, the will to desire, the mind thinks of something and then it desires and then it is he. Yoga rudhas sadauchyate, then he is called yoga rudha. So yoga rudha definition, you see the beauty of the Gita is, every bills or uses, he defines it immediately. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam chakra dhananjaya. Second chapter, shloka number 40, chakra dhananjaya siddhya siddhyotsamo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Not for the fruits of action. The next shloka he says, being in yoga, do your actions, sangam tattva, discarding all associations. And what is that yoga? Samo bhutva, being equanimous to success or failure. That equanimity is called yoga. So he defines it. So like that here, yoga rudha. Yada hinendriyartheshu na karmastvamusajjate. When you are not attached, you are not attracted, you are not even perturbed, and having discarded, renounced all the sankalpa, sarva sankalpa sannyasi, then you are called yoga rudha. You see, this abandon, this mortification of the ego, it is the mortification of the ego. The ego has to be suppressed. This total surrender to the will of the Supreme Rudha. Krishna is never tired of emphasizing this point. Sarva term used in the Gita at two other places. Sarvarambha parityagi. Sarva sankalpa sannyasi is Sarva arambha parityagi means arambha. Arambha means is the beginning of an action, beginning to do the task, some action. Arambha parityagi, renouncer of all arambhas. It is Sarva sankalpa sannyasi and Sarva arambha parityagi mean almost the same thing. So it's Sagi. You see, there are three places in the Gita where Krishna describes the Karma Yogi. In one case, the ideal Bhakta. In another case, the ideal Gunathita, the one who has transcended all the gunas. Sattvarajana, second chapter. Sthita Prajna description. The ideal Bhakta description comes in the has transcended the gunas. Sannyasi actually. That description comes in the 14th chapter. So here is the 12th chapter shloka. Anapeksha arambha parityagi bhaktiman yassa me priya. That bhaktiman, that devotee, he is my favorite devotee. Which devotee? Sarvarambha parityagi vasino gatavyada. Anapeksha, he does not seek anything. Shuchi, he is terribly pure. Anapeksha shujit dakshaha. Dakshaha, excellent, different to all the fruits of objects or whatever. Anapeksha shujit dakshaha udasino gatavyataha. He has thrown away. He is the sarvarambha parityagi. He has renounced all the arambhas. Satya bhakta is my favorite devotee. 14th chapter description is Gunatita description. The one who has transcended all the three gunas. All the three gunas. Mana aparyo sarvarambha parityagi gunatita sa uchyate. Whenever the uchyate comes, it's a definition. Being equanimous to honor and dishonor. Mana apamanayo stulyaha tulyo mitra ari pakshayo. Mitra ari pakshayo. Side of friends. On the side of friends. Aripaksha means on the side of the enemy. Tulyaha, he is equanimous to either this side or even then. So Krishna is not tired of repeating these words which are very important. Sarvarambha parityagi, sarva sankalpa sannyasi. Throughout the concept of actionlessness is the undercurrent. Naham karta, naham bhokta. Exactly the same idea. त्यक्त्वा कर्मफला संगम नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयम् कर्मण्यभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सहम्. So he has renounced, means he has renounced the doership. The doership. Naiva kinchit karoti saha karmanya abhipravrittopi, even though he is engaged in action. Triptaha nirashrayaha karmapala sangam, the attachment to the fruits of action. Tyaktva, having renounced the ever satisfied, because he doesn't desire anything. So there is no question of dissatisfaction. Nitya drupto nirashtrayaha, he is not resorting to anything. He is indifferent to everything else. So tyaktva karma phala sangam nitya drupto nirashrayam karmanya abhipravrittopi naiva kinchiti, of chapter 4. And so even in the previous sloka of that, yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha, if you look at that, for whom starting of task, yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjita. Kama sankalpa, kama is desire, so the desire will, right? That varjita, rid of, totally devoid of. Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa jnanat nidagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddha. That is why his karma, his actions are all consumed to the flames of that person is called the Pandita. 19th sloka of chapter 4. Again, the actionlessness, you see, look at he says sarvasankalpa sannyasi, or he says naiva kinchit karoti saha. Sloka number 7 of chapter 5. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyam, is doing something, kurvannapi na lipyate, he is not contaminated, he is not affected, he is not touched. In the same thought, Krishna from his fundamental thought, the actionlessness throughout, and that is what finally clinches the issue with Arjuna. You are not doing anything by your shariram kevalam karma, huvanna punoti kalmisham. So sarva bhutatma, the one who finds his self has become the sarva bhuta, all the selves. Sarva bhutatma kurvannapi nalipyate, even though he is doing something. But in fact, almost at the very end of the Gita, in the 18th chapter, he talks about this arambha business. Arambha ki doshena dhumena atmevivavrato. Arambha, all arambhas, all startups have faults in them. Just as Agni, fire, is covered by smoke, so all arambhas. So sahajam, therefore, don't blame your karma. Even though you think that your karma, your duty is full of faults, that is Arjuna's contention. How sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham abhinatyajet. Your sahajam karma is to fight. Sahajam karma, and fight for justice. Sahajam karma. This is the thing which clinches the issue finally. Sarvarambha doshena, all arambhas have got dosha, have got faults. That is why sarvarambha parityagi, whether they consider them as parityagi. So it's a very important sloka. Yada hinendriyartheshu na karmasvan shajjate sarvasankalpa sannyasi yogarudhastasi, one who has renounced all the sankalpas. Now, refresh your memory, go back to the second chapter, sloka number 70. Apodhyamanamachala pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvate tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti apnoti na. He uses a very pregnant word, kamakami. That is, all the good things he has done, whatever has controlled his senses and everything, he obtains shanti, but not the kamakami, it says. Just as rivers go and flow into the ocean, like that all desires flow into him and get sub-displayed. Shloka number 70 of chapter 2. But the Kamakami word and the Sarvasankalpa Sannyasi word are just two opposites. You see, one is minus infinity, one is plus infinity. Kamakami is minus infinity. The Kamakami is the one who desires to desire. He wants more desires. He is not satisfied with his wants. He wants more wants. Kamakami. He desires further wants. That is the minus infinity. The will to desire he has thrown away. These are two extremes. Krishna is using beautiful expressions and words at the right place. Sarvasankalpa sannyasi yogarudhastadhochyate. So that is shloka number 4. Now he is going to explain yoga. That is this chapter, Dhyana Yoga. In fact, this chapter is called Dhyana Yoga. It may also be called Atma Samyama Yoga. Remember, in the 4th chapter, the Atma Samyama Yoga, Samyama means control, Atma means self, control of the self. That is a yoga. Yoga of the self-control. Yoga of Atma Samyama Yoga. So this chapter can be called Atma Samyama Yoga. It's called usually Dhyana Yoga. Now, he is going to take up that. But before that, shloka number 5 and 6. Shloka number 5 and 6 is it is something like a diversion, but it is aimed at the ordinary seeker for the regimen. Gita regimen for Advaitic living. So he says here, it's a general advice. Manatmanam natmanamavasadajet atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanah. Once upon a time, in the 3rd chapter or 4th chapter, I think, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. In order to know the jnana, in order to get the knowledge, you go and prostrate yourself before some great scholar, some great guru. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. By namaskar, by doing service and by asking questions. Pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. Upadechanti te jnanam. They will tell you the knowledge. That is what they said. So one may think that without that I cannot do anything. No, you have to read that scholar, that guru. Sadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. Even though you go and prostrate before him, even though you go and ask him questions, even though you serve him, finally you have to raise yourself by yourself. That is the shloka, 5th shloka. Uddhare atmanatmanam natmanamavasadajet atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanah. First let me give you the simple meaning. Uddhare atmana atmanam. What? He has to elevate himself by himself. Atmana atmanam uddhare. Uddhare means elevate. Let him elevate. Atmana by oneself. Atmanam the self. Yourself, you must raise yourself by yourself. Don't underestimate, don't undergrade, don't degrade, don't weaken yourself. Na atmanam avasadaye. Second line. Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanah. Self is the friend of the self. Sir, what is this? Wait, I'll tell you. Atmaiva ripuratmanah. Ripuhu means enemy. Bandhuhu means friend. Atma eva atmanah ripu. The self itself is the enemy of the self. So here you have to understand the meaning of the words Atma very carefully. The self alone, Atmaiva Atmanaha Bandhuhu. Atma eva, the self alone, is the friend of the Atmanaha Bandhuhu. When you say the self alone, Atma eva, remember there is a higher self, There is a lower self. Sir, what is the lower self? Body, mind, intellect. What is the higher self? That is the spirit within, watching, non-participating witness. So Atma eva Atmanaha Bandhuhu, that self, capital self, the Atma, he alone is the friend of the self. How is it? Because he is the benefactor or the cause of liberation from bondage. Atma eva Atmanaha Ripuhu, that self alone is the enemy of the self. That self, again the Atma, that higher self, is the enemy because, like the silkworm, the mind enters into Atma eva in both cases. Second line, have the book before you. Atma eva hi Atmanaha Bandhuhu, Atma eva Ripuratmanaha. Atma eva occurs twice. In both cases, it is the self alone. Self is capital self. This is the higher self is meant. Universal self. Atmanaha means the lower self for the Atman. The personal self is meant. Personal self means individualized consciousness of everyday life. Actually, Madhusudana Saraswati takes a little detour here. Here by Atma, the self, Atma, he means the mind, which is imbued with discrimination. So he says that will be the enemy. If the mind is imbued with proper discrimination, then it will become the friend. If the mind is not imbued with proper discrimination, it will be the enemy. That is understandable, certainly. So Uddhare Atmanatmanam Natmanam Avasatajet Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhu Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. But there is a further explanation in the next shloka, because Krishna himself probably must have thought that this is a little confusing. So he says, Bandhura Atmanastasya, Atma, the self, higher self, is the friend of the self, the lower self. When is the higher self an enemy of the lower self? So he says, Bandhuhu Atma Atmanaha Tasya, Yena Atmaiva Atmana Jitaha. Yena Atmaiva Atmana Jitaha, by whom the higher self, Atma eva Atmana Jitaha. Atma eva Atmana Jitaha. The lower third vanquished by the higher self. Yena Atmaiva Atmana Jitaha. The lower self has been conquered by the higher self. What do you mean by conquered? All its, you see, conquering. Higher self, lower self. You understand what is higher self? That is the spirit within. The lower self is the body, mind, intellect and all its external things. So, Yena Atmana Jitaha. What is the meaning? What is the meaning of this Hitopadesha has a simple shloka explaining this. Of course, it does not mean to explain this, but the way it has composed shloka in Hitopadesha, that comes very handy here. Ahora nitra abhayamaitunam cha samanyametat pasubinnadanam dharmo hitesham adhiko visheshadam dharmena ghina pasubissamanam. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna. Nidra is sleeping, sleep. Bhaya is fear. Maithuna is reproduction. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithunam cha. Food, sleep, fear, reproduction. Samanyametat pasubhinnarana. These are all common between animals and men. Samanyametat pasubhihi narana. Pasubhihi animals, narana human beings. Both the animals and human beings are these four fundamental things they do: eat, sleep. So what is the greatness about the human being? Dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesham. Dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesham. Dharma, the concept of dharma, is the speciality of the human being. Dharmena hina pasubhishamana. If the dharma is not there, the man is nothing but an animal. dharmena hina pashubhis samana. So, in this shloka, when you come back, atmana jitaha, yena atmana jitaha, by the higher self, the lower self has been conquered, means he has resorted to dharma. Dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesha. That is, he is no more an animal. Because if he is hina, dharmena hina, pashuvis samana. If the dharma is not there, he will be equivalent to an animal. So if he is following dharma, bandhuhu atma atmanaha, the higher self is a friend of self. Anatmanastu, second line of sloka number 6. Anatmanastu shatrutve vartet atmaiva shatruvat. Anatmanastu shatrutve. The one who has not conquered the lower self, or the other way, the lower self has not been subdued by the higher self. The unsubdued self is actually a non-atma or opposite. So when the anatma is there, shatrutve varteta atmaiva shatruvat. The atma, the real self, the higher self, remains in the form of an enemy. Shatruvat. So there is the self which is subdued, atmana jitaha, and the self which is not subdued. For the self which is subdued, if the self is subdued, the lower self is subdued, then no question. Bandhuhu atma atmana. The atma is the implied consequence is we are called upon to master our lower nature, lower self by the higher self. Usually we think that nature is determinism of nature. But determinism of nature is qualified by the power to our power to control nature. The lower self is not to be destroyed. The lower self is VMI as a dharma sadhana. Sharira madhyam kila dharma sadhanam. Without the sharira, you cannot practice dharma. So sharira is necessary. It has to be put in its place. How do you put in its place? Macharis, you must remember here. How do you put the lower self into its place? Yanyanavatyani kanvani tani sevitabhyani noitarani. Yani anavadya. Taittiriya Upanishad, last paragraph, first chapter, advice to all brahmacharis outgoing from the school. Yani anavadyani karmani. Whatever action is irreproachable, tani sevitavyani, they are the ones to be performed. All acts that are irreproachable, they alone are to be performed. Yani anavadyani karmani, tani sevitavyani, no itarani, nothing, no other thing, not those that are contrary to this. Yanyasmakagam suchani no yitarani. You must be intent on the virtuous acts that proceed from us. Yani asmakam sucharitani. Whatever good things we have done, right things we have done, they are to be nourished by you. That is what you have to do. No itarani. Sometimes we find faults in them. No, don't look at that. They have done several great things. Follow that. So this is the regimen for the control of the lower self by the higher self. Such a thing, but in such a case, he is the friend. Bandhuratmanastasya yenatmaivatmana jitaham. After this sloka, the 6th chapter gets into a beautiful description of yoga, but before that, in the next 4 shlokas, Krishna waxes eloquent, beautiful. So only 4 shlokas I am going to take in the next session on the results of yoga, dhyana yoga. Right? So we will take that up in the next session. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim nahishah gobrahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam lokas samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Tat Sat.